Bitcoin is falling, gold has reached a new all-time high, and the yen is starting to rebound. And with that, welcome to a new crypto update video. Yes, Bitcoin at 87,200 US dollars. We can see that Bitcoin is falling. Once again, we didn't manage to get above the Asia session high. And that's also because the yen is finally falling. Is this possibly the beginning of the start or the beginning or the start of the end of the carry trade? You know exactly what I mean. This has to do with the carry trade. Let's put all of this into perspective now. But before we get started, as always, feel free to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, feel free to join the free Telegram Talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find the link for it for free down in the video description. There, you'll always get the latest updates whenever I enter trades or take profits, for example, or anything else, so feel free to join the group for free below. And otherwise, if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we discuss here, feel free to sign up with my partner exchange, BingX. The link for that is also down in the video description. At the moment, you can secure up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses. And there's also the Xmas special where you can win up to $6 million. But you can also participate with less, basically. Then, yeah, bonus winnings, trial funds, etc., and so on. So feel free to check it out. So yeah, Bitcoin at $87,100. We're slowly but surely entering the territory where things get interesting. Also in terms of longs, I already talked about it yesterday that especially for me, this area down here, at just under 86,000 US dollars, it gets very, very interesting. Especially after we once again failed to set a higher high yesterday. I'm just going to draw a perfectly straight line here now. You can basically see here, okay, these were our last highs. They were around the 12th, 13th of December. Last week, we had that brief peak on the 17th December, where it was immediately sold off again afterwards. And yesterday, another peak above it, the liquidity from these 3 or 4 days here, accumulation plus this wick, and the market continued to correct downward. What could be the reason for that? On the one hand, we have a lot of, funding rate. Again, it's gone up, and I really don't like that at all. Point number 2, which is a bit more positive, is that a lot of spot demand is finally coming in again. Yesterday, we had non-stop spot selling pressure all day long. Of course, that's not what we want to see because ultimately we want to see some buying pressure coming in here. And we're seeing that now for the first time in days. And that's a good sign that we might finally be able to establish our bottom. What I really don't like, and in this case, we might actually be glad that in just 2 more weeks things will calm down, or rather that starting tomorrow things will get much, much quieter, is the topic of Japan. Yesterday, we talked about it, and I also mentioned it in the video, okay, I'm opening a new short position on USD JPY, and, well, what can I say? It's looking good for now, down 0.84%. That, of course, also means, conversely, the yen is rising against the US dollar, and that could in turn lead to something. If we also take a look at government bonds, which have also been falling since last night or since early this morning, the 10-year bonds, the 20-year ones are still relatively stable, and so are the 30-year bonds. But if there's a bit more movement, that could really get our carry trade going. That means the carry trade is slowly but surely being unwound, just as the yen is now starting to rebound. And in the end, it even says here on Bloomberg, stock rally keeps going, yen extends rebound. So this could now be the moment when the carry trade really starts to come into play. Remember what I said last week. Normally, it always takes about 5 to 7 days before any kind of reaction happens. Of course, now with everything going on with Christmas, etc., and so on, this whole thing will probably drag on a bit longer, but we might now be at a point where you could say, okay, now it's time to be cautious. If we lose this support at 86K, then it's likely to go significantly lower. And now, please don't be alarmed. You know, I check the heat map once a day. At first, I thought I wasn't seeing things right, but point number 1, which is positive, we still have a lot of liquidity around 91,000, exactly the box we talked about yesterday. We're currently moving into the next liquidity level at 86,000. Everything is still within the normal range, but take a look down there. If we zoom in here between 70 and 71, there's currently more liquidity there than at around 86,000 or 91,000, and that gives me a bit of a stomachache, to be honest, because this accumulation of liquidity right now, we're just $17,000 away from this zone. Why should there be so much there? Then we could also assume, okay, there's too much at 105, but from 100 to 105, there's nothing left at all, just a tiny cluster at 96,000 US dollars. That means the liquidity is shifting significantly more to the downside. That worries me a bit, but of course it would also mean that we would reach our targets. Is it possibly that the carry trade unwind is happening, meaning it's being dissolved? We don't know, but technically speaking, if we just look back at the last carry trades for a moment, then we know this. A drop of 20 to 30% wouldn't be surprising now. That would now be 10 to 20%. Just observe for now. At the moment, it's not too late yet, I'd say. The spot demand is coming. Maybe the 86 will hold, and then we'll continue positively. But please keep an eye on it. Let's move over to Ethereum. Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't make it to our sell zone up here, so you can basically throw altcoins in the trash right now. Still, they're so badly underwater. It's unbelievable, but in the end, Ethereum is in the same starting position as Bitcoin at the moment. If we somehow get back down into this area here, around 2,870 would be a start. We can take another look at the 1 hour chart here. There should be, yeah, there's also a vector here that fits to 2,860. Keep an eye on this level. If we somehow drop down there, maybe a small trend reversal signal could be possible. That would then fit with the $86,000 for Bitcoin. Solana? Yeah, what more can I even say about it? Solana looks absolutely awful. Solana probably $120. That would probably still be the best case scenario to then reverse the trend. Technically, everything is complete in a downward trend, and I actually like that. 0-0. Therefore, keep your hands off altcoins over Christmas and don't wish for them under a tree or anything else, or don't put a Solana package under the tree. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that right now. But all right, let's move over to the traditional markets. As I just said, US dollar, JPY, the short is going great. So we can start to gray out that zone again. Euro, US dollar is pumping, okay. Interesting to see whether this might be the 5 here or if the 3 just keeps extending. Then gold, new all-time high, unbelievable. So currently above extension B, very, very likely, which means the 3 is set a bit higher as well. It will definitely remain interesting to see where gold goes from here. But honestly, I'm also considering whether to close the short. The long is still running as a hedge, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. Silver, also to the moon, next one, $70. So, you know, I would never dare to short that, but you also have to say things are definitely starting to get a bit tight. And if the markets crash, specs, Japan, or anything else, then gold and silver will also suffer at first, at least in my opinion. All right, then DAX stable, Dow Jones stable, NASDAQ pumped yesterday. We're going in a bit here, but there's still a small gap below. No higher high yet. Also the US Tech 100, same game. We still don't have a higher high. That means, technically speaking, we're still more or less in a consolidation, or rather in a gradually weakening downtrend after we formed this lower low here. So proceed with caution with the NASDAQ. Russell, neither here nor there, and the volatility index is pretty much dead at the moment. But that also means as long as the volatility index remains at such a low level, it's a good sign for us. Because when volatility is low, no hedge positions are being built. That means the expectation is more like, okay, no, the upward trend could continue. That would also mean for Bitcoin, okay, we'll just stay stable for now. The options will be triggered on the 26th, I believe. Or rather, I think they will be closed then. Closed. I think worst case, something like $86,000, if I'm not mistaken. That would fit very, very well. But I think, well, after the holidays, there could be a bit more movement. But at the moment, the way things look right now, we don't need to worry that the big crash is coming today. Instead, the next few days should be calmer for now. And I think next week we'll have to think about things a lot more. But all right, let's see how things develop. In any case, Japanese government bonds are dropping, but US government bonds, they're not really falling. That's still a thorn in my side. But all right, let's see what else happens. The most important thing right now was Bitcoin. And otherwise, I'd say that's it from my side. I wish you all a super successful day. Tonight at 7 p.m., please don't forget, live stream on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll post the link later in the Telegram group or everywhere on social media. And otherwise, that's it from my side. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share your opinion in the comments, and see you tonight. Ciao, ciao, and as always, stay crypto.